Hello there, how are you? Okay, let's cut all the nonsense, let's get straight to it. Alright, so the elephant in the room, I haven't uploaded in a little while. Yes, that's because I've been working on the next bigger video. It's Fear and Hunger. Good times, very family, kid-friendly, you know, yippee. Look forward to that one, definitely. But in the meantime, while I was working on that, I went in for day surgery. I have stitches in my butt. It's pretty not fun, don't recommend it. And that's been like a week of recovery. I'm back to streaming though. I'm on Twitch, weekends, link in the description, check that out. We don't care about that right now though. What we care about is the absolute peak of bottom of the barrel, easy content to make. That's right, today we're doing a tier list because I came home from taking the dog to the vet. His balls have stitches in them, my butt has stitches, so I feel like let's just go all in with the torment and do a roguelite tier list. Look at all of these games. This is ridiculous. Now, it's not completely up to date. You might notice that there are some names that aren't here. I believe this list was made in 2023. I'm just using the one that's provided right here. I didn't add all these myself. So there are some newer games from this year, like Hades 2, maybe some other ones that aren't in the actual list themselves. But we're just going to go based on what's here and start compiling them with my limited experience, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of games in here that I haven't touched before. There's a lot that I know of but haven't played, but there are some I have never even heard of in my life. I don't even know what order I want to do these in, but I guess we just go straight from the very beginning. I don't know what Interlude is, so let's fix this bottom tier real quick. Haven't played or heard of it. I have no idea what Interlude is. I'm sure it's great. Moving forward, Astral Ascent. This one's actually special. I'm planning to do another video for Astral Ascent coming out soon. I was just waiting until my throat and my body were more recovered. Astral Ascent is going to go into a special place, but first, Legally Addictive Substance, please help. Astral Ascent is the first game going to the top of the list. I've said it before, I'll say it in the video I do later on, but I'm going to say it quickly now. Astral Ascent might be one of the best dollar for dollar value action roguelites that you can pick up today. It's right up there with some of the greats. It has so much content. There's so much stuff you can do in it. It's continuing to be updated right now. They've just recently put out a new character. It is ridiculous. I'm not even sponsored for this video. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you haven't played Astral Ascent, go over there and try it. It's a fantastic good time. I don't know how they're marrying all of the systems they've put in place so well, but it just comes together really, really nicely. Moving on though, we have Crab Champions. I actually have played Crab Champions, and I'm gonna stick it in the need some more seasoning category. Now, I haven't played it since it's been updated. The last time I played it was a little while ago, but at the time it was a little bare bones, all right? It's a cool idea. You run around as a crab, you shoot things. Fun enough, but it definitely needed a little something more. Tiny Rogues. Now, this is going to be difficult to do, but Tiny Rogues, I'm putting Tiny Rogues up here in the I really enjoyed our time together. That's the tier that we're putting this in. So I didn't finish Tiny Rogues as much as I otherwise would. I have to kind of bounce around depending on what the audience wants to see. It's the whole YouTube shtick. It sucks. I think it would be better off as maybe a stream game, but for you, definitely, if you like, you know, the isometric bullet hell kind of vibe, it's way up there, is very, very good. I just didn't explore it enough to tell you definitively if it's deserving of being any higher, but if you ask any fans of the game, they might tell you yes. Definitely not a bad game at all, very, very nice. I have no idea what this is. That's going down there. I've never played Gloom. Let's go down there. I can't tell what this is. I can't see the image very... What is that? Can I... Hello? Can I zoom? Hang on, I'm zooming in. Let me... Oh, that's much better. That's very nice. Okay, Moonguard? I haven't played that. I haven't played Breach. No idea. Monster Train? I know of Monster Train, never played it. Flint Hook? I watched a friend play it, never played it. NetHack? Never played it. Brutal? Never played it. Never played it. Gungeon? I mean, we're just gonna put Gungeon up there. We all know Gungeon. Gungeon is one of the leading staples. There's gonna be a few of these up here where you just kind of know by default that it deserves to be up here and it belongs there because of what it's done. You don't even have to like Gungeon as a game, and you can still understand that it's just that good of a game for those who do enjoy it, which I think is really important for the top spot. Is even if I personally don't enjoy it that much, I can still put it up here. Now, having said that, I do enjoy Gungeon. I just don't play Gungeon very much, but it's very, very nice. Didn't play Atomic Crops. I know of it, though. Beat Blast, no idea what that is. No idea. I do know of Slash's Keep. Haven't played it though. Gravity Busters, nah. Space Gladiators, we have played Space Gladiators. Space Gladiators, I'm putting in the really enjoyed our time together. Now, it is so close to being an A, but this is an indie project. Ever played Brotato? Same developer. This is like, oh, I shouldn't say indie pro. They're all indie projects for the most part, but this is like one-man developer indie. This is really, really, really like the essence of indie developed games. But it's so fun. It's got like action roguelites elements with a bit of Hollow Knight at the same time, with the way that the movement and the pogoing. It's very, very cool. If you never checked out Space Gladiators, it's insanely cheap, and it has a lot more depth to its build variety. It's very Isaac inspired, where you've got weird items that have really cool interactions with each other, and you have different characters that you can select similar to Isaac as well. So it's not just one dude. You've got multiple different characters who specialize in different combat styles. Very fun game. I've got maybe a handful of diehard fans who routinely ask me to go back and play Space Gladiators. Well worth your trouble to check that one out, especially if you were a fan of Brotato's art style and the way that game was put together. Same man did the same game. No idea what Arcanium is. No idea what that is. No idea. No idea. No idea. No idea. No idea. Words can kill? Yes, they can, but I have no idea how that kills. Tombstar. I actually played this once. I did a singular video for it, but that was very early. You know, I'm gonna drop it down here, and we're gonna put an addendum on this. Haven't played or heard of it, or slash not enough experience with it. There we go. Wait, we're going to hang on, let me do there. Or not enough experience with it. Basically, I played Tombstar for a single video. I have maybe like 2 hours in it. It was on when it's very first released. I don't think I can really put this in somewhere on the list. I don't even know if it's still in development, if it's like finished, if they're still updating it. I have no idea. Luck Be a Landlord, never played it. I do know of it though. Rounds, is that a rogue? I thought Rounds was just like a fun party game with friends, like Nidhogg and stuff like that. I'll put it there because I haven't actually played it, but I don't even know if that counts as a rogue. Dungeon Deathball, nope, nope. No, that looks familiar though, but no. Voidigo, I've had people recommend Voidigo. You guys let me know. I hear it's decent, but I'm not sure. Depending on who you ask, some say it's fantastic, amazing, so worth your trouble. And then others say it has a few hit and miss places. Never a bad game though. It's always decent. I have no idea what Rogue Slide is. Rogue Glitch, no idea. That would be Skull the Hero Slayer. We are very biased on this channel. I'm gonna pull it up here and stick it right there. This is the game I have the most time in. Most of you who are watching this right now probably already know that. If you're a new guy who hasn't watched my channel before, this is the main game that my channel kind of got started on. This is, you know, if Northern Lion plays Isaac, this is my Isaac, you know. Skull the Hero Slayer was my game. I can't talk about this too much. It's up there, you know. Lots and lots of time put into that game. Rise of the Slime. No idea. No idea. Nope. For the King. We have played some For the King. I'm gonna say I really enjoyed our time together on this one. For the King is fantastic. Now, if I'd played it more, it might be a little higher, but the main thing holding it down, I think, is the multiplayer aspect. For the King 100% wants you to play it with friends. You can play it solo. You don't need a bunch of other people in there with you, but it vastly improves it. In the similar kind of sense that, you know, Risk of Rain 2 is really good on its own, but better with friends. Risk of Rain 2 carries itself very well solo either way. For the King really shines with friends. It's not quite as fun to have a party of people when you're just making all the same decisions. It's like trying to play a solo D&D campaign where you just make the same choices. There's no random renegade factor where your friend just decides to do something unhinged out of nowhere and you have to make up for their randomness, or you know, they decide they're going to not do what you want them to do, and that makes it all the more fun. But when you're doing it on your own, it doesn't really hold up as well. That's Darkest Dungeon 2. So I really wish, you know what, I'm putting that here, and I really wish I didn't have to do this. Darkest Dungeon 2, I really like the first game. We'll get to that when I find it. I'm pretty sure it's in the list. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a proper roguelite, right? So the first game has rogue elements, but I wouldn't really say is really a rogue. The second one is 100% a rogue. The problem I have with it isn't anything to do with its like fundamental mechanics. I think the game plays very well. It's gorgeous, brilliant art style. I love Wayne's voice. I love everything about the Darkest Dungeon aesthetic and the way that it punishes players. Admittedly, when it first came out, a bit more rocky. Since then, they've polished a lot of the problems out. There's a whole bunch of new characters added. There's a lot more variety now because of that, because originally there were like, you know, a couple of dudes who were way better on the team than the others, and you just didn't have, you know, Grave Robber. You didn't really have a good reason to pick them over, say, Man-at-Arms and Highwaymen. The problem with Darkest Dungeon 2 that puts it specifically in the middle here is the length of the runs. The first game, and we'll get to that when I get to it, felt better despite not being a true rogue, because you could just jump on and do a couple of runs in some dungeons, little, you know, 10-minute adventures, and be done. The Darkest Dungeon 2's runs can go for hours, depending on how slow you are, how familiar you are with the game, whether or not you're super experienced with quick decision making, or if you need to, like, you know, get stuck into a lot of fights, or if you're skipping fights. It depends on what you want to do, but the runs can go anywhere between like 2.5 hours to 5 hours sometimes, depending on your luck, and you can get all the way to the end. Shit goes wrong, you die, you lose, and that sucks. That's the way that rogues go, right? Normally an hour, maybe an hour and a half in most games. 4 hours or so, and then losing at the end feels absolutely horrible. At least in Darkest Dungeon 1, if things go wrong and you lose characters, you didn't really lose progress, because you've probably got like a team and a roster of people built already who are going to go right back in and do stuff for you. Yes, you've lost the progress of those characters, but it's not going to take you anywhere near as much time to get those guys leveled up again. It's just, it's a love-hate with the length of the runs, more so than the mechanics, but the length really hurts it for me. Like, I'm not kidding, it really hurts it. Everything else, I mean, you know what, I'm gonna bump it up. It's too mean. Like, mechanically, everything about it is just fantastic. It's the length. It doesn't deserve to be in the middle. I enjoyed my time with it. I just don't think that I can do much more with it because of the length, because it takes so long. It's a stream game completely. I put a few videos out on the channel for it, and I had to break them up into multiple parts because those runs are huge, dude. I can't be uploading 3-hour runs onto YouTube. No idea what NKRX is. I'm sorry. No idea. Dicey Dungeons, I know of Dicey Dungeons. Fun fact, I'm not really that big into deck builders. I know Dicey Dungeons isn't a deck builder, but I'm just pointing that out right now because there are a lot of like weird little subgenres like Luck Be a Landlord and stuff like that, where I'm not big on those subgenres of rogue, so to speak, or those particular types. I don't know what this is. I was looking at this image thinking I did. I don't. Bumbo. I've never played Bumbo. I've watched Mr. Northern Lion, Mr. Egg himself, play a little bit of Bumbo back in the day when it first, very, very, very early days came out. I don't know anything about its continuation. Have they continued to update this? I know Isaac is in like a really weird spot right now with like the ownership stuff, the rights or something. I don't know if Bumbo's in a good place or not. Phantom Abyss. I missed the wagon on this. I understand that there was like a moment, there were a few weeks or a few months back in the day when Phantom Abyss was like the shit. It was the rage, and I missed the hype train on that one completely. Peglin! Peglin, I enjoyed my time with Peglin. Peglin was very nice. Peglin is just like a really, really simple idea, but executed really well. I wouldn't be able to sit and play Peglin for a long amount of time, but I think that's the brilliance of Peglin, is that it is one of those games you can kind of jump into and just have fun initially. Some of the runs I was doing can go a little bit in the long way, but not so long that it overstays its welcome. It's very fun. If I played it for multiple hours and did many, many runs back to back, might get a little stale, but for what it is, I really enjoyed it. Noida. Love-hate relationship. I've still never beaten a run. I've never beaten a run, which is probably why it doesn't deserve to be in the middle. It's clearly a very, 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 very good game, and everyone who's played Noida a lot will put it up here, easily, right? Like, it probably deserves to at least be here. Minimum. But for me, fuck this game. I don't hate it. I really like this game. I just never got good at learning how to build wands. I haven't been on it enough. This is one of those games that suffered from... I used to poll my chat and ask them what game they want me to play on stream for given segments, and whenever Noida was in a list, it was always partnered with other games, some of which might be here in the future, and it just never won very much. People just didn't really vote for it very much. If I go back to it, I do want to go back and play it, because I played it with stream mode enabled, and so I'd have people sometimes help, and then sometimes they would summon, I forget his name, Greg, whatever his name is, the big god of death. They just summon him in, and I would die over and over and over again. And people were telling me, you're not really getting the great Noida experience because you're playing on super stupid difficulty when you're doing that. We'll go back one day maybe and do that. Nova Drift. I played Nova Drift. I enjoyed my time with it. I don't think it's a love-hate thing. I think it's just, it's good. It's a good time. Simple. Once again, simple idea, executed very well. Go try that out. Haven't played this. Don't know what that is. Slice and Dice. No idea. Crypt of the Necro Dancer belongs... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've never played Crypt of the Necro Dancer. I'm one of those fake guys. I used the soundtrack for videos and I listened to the soundtrack. I've never actually played it myself. This goes like way back to before I even played Rogues in general when Crypt of the Necrodancer came out. Inscription, also never played it. I think that's Inscription. Never played it, but that's on my bucket list. I understand that Inscription... I don't even know if this... Is it a rogue? I thought it was like... I don't know. It might be a bit more like a Darkest Dungeon kind of situation. But I never finished or I never played Inscription, so one day, who knows, if there's any continued support for maybe wanting to see some Inscription stuff, might be coming to a YouTube channel near you. Going back to Necrodancer real quick, never played it, maybe one day. Rogue Heroes, I think I own this. I genuinely think I own Rogue Heroes, but I've never played it. I don't remember booting it up, so I'm going to leave it there. Dome Keeper, no idea. Fuzz Force, furry game? I have no idea. Darkest Dungeon, okay, so I might be a little biased here, but I'm going to put it in S. Or what would be S. It's a legally addictive substance, please help. It just is. Now, in a real world situation, I would make a tier list addition down here between F tier and haven't played it, just called not a roguelite, but still an amazing game. This has rogue elements. It's not really a true rogue in the sense that everything I mean, let's not even get started on the nonsense between roguelite versus roguelike, alright? It got to the point where I just gave up on even caring anymore. I just call them all rogues. Whether or not it's like an Isaac game, a Gungeon game, a Risk of Rain, a Hades, I don't care. They're all rogues. The idea is you die, you start again. I don't care if there's permanent progression. I don't care if there's no permanent progression. You die, you start again. So with Darkest Dungeon, you do die and you lose characters, but I don't think just permadeath on your squad is enough to really... I mean, technically you can lose the campaign and then start the whole campaign over, but I don't think that counts, right? Because in that case, are we calling Fire Emblem and games like that rogues? Kinda? No, right? No. So this has a lot of rogue-inspired elements, but if you have never played Darkest Dungeon, I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of turn-based rogues, turn-based combat in general, or just really fun strategy-based combat with a lot of, like, brutal punishment, but also it's fair at the same time in some weird ways, has its flaws, but ultimately I do prefer the first one much more over the second one, for a lot of the reasons I mentioned earlier. If you have characters die, it sucks, but you're kind of encouraged and you're meant to go through characters. If you can keep characters from the start of the game alive to the end, like there's literally achievements for that, because you're not really expected to. You're expected to lose dudes along the way, and that's part of it, which is why I love this game so much, dude. It's so nice. I'm not gonna rave about it too much longer, but you know, if you never played it, go play it. No idea what Cave Blazes is. Desktop Dungeons, no idea. Palette Up, no idea. No idea. Necro Bouncer. I have played some Necro Bouncer. I want to make, right? So Necro Bouncer is one that I played for, I think like at least 2 or 3 videos, right? I played it for a little bit, but the problem is when I played it, it was very, very early. Since then, I'm sure the developers have continued to update and put new things in. I haven't played enough of it since then. In the beginning, though, it was a little bit more bare, which is understandable. It was fresh, it was new. I'm not gonna blame or punish a developer for a new game not having all of its mechanics polished out just yet. That's just silly. But from what I played, decent, very nice. We're gonna have this new little tier sitting in the middle because really enjoyed our time together is for ones I played a little bit more extensively, or at least I can understand the hype. Necro Bouncer needs a little bit more time to come into itself, as opposed to Tiny Rogues, where I know for a fact it's had a lot more time to develop, and I've experienced it. I can see the polish. Necro was a little early at the time. We're going to leave that tier there as a little in between for us. Is that called Switch Cars? Is that a car roguelite? No idea. No idea. What was that? Gordian Quest? A Gordian? Gordian Quest. Going Under. I never played Going Under. This was by the same developers who made Another Crab's Treasure, right? I did play Another Crab's Treasure. That was very fun. Going Under was the Office Rogue, unless I'm mistaken. Didn't play it. It was on my radar, but never got around to it. Void Bastards. I hear a lot of good things about Void Bastards. Never played. Forward. Never played. Ring of Pain. Steam tried to push this on me for like 2 years straight. It's one of those games that was always there in the recommendeds or on the homepage. It was like, oh, you should play Ring of Pain. More players like you enjoy Ring of Pain. It's like, sure, dude. One day, maybe. Wait a minute. Is that Escape the Dungeon? Has that been Escape the Dungeon the entire time? Is this one gun? That's no. No, that's Exit. That's Exit. Okay, okay. It Exit the... No. That's Enter. This is Exit, right? I never played Exit. If I got that I can't see. Let me zoom in again. Yeah, that's Exit. Okay, cool. I never played Exit the Gungeon. No idea. I to this day, I have no idea how it plays. I know it plays it's a side scroller, right? It plays very differently to the original, and that's a little bit of a polarizing thing for a lot of players, but I'm gonna leave it there. Isaac. Fine, let's put... Never played it. Nah, I'm kidding. I have played it. Not very much. I don't have much experience with Isaac, but I mean... The fact that it's Isaac, I mean, this is my tier list. A lot of these, you know, the typical, you know, give the message, it's my tier list, go make your own, shut up, your mother. All that stupid nonsense, right? So I'm going to obviously be biased on some things, but I'm not going to be biased when it comes to games that clearly helped kickstart, you know, modern rogues the way that they are now. The amount of Isaac clones that came out in the wake of this, ridiculous. These days we see Vampire Survivors clones, we see Hades clones, we see a lot of things cloning like Dead Cells and all these other big games. Risk of Rain doesn't get as many for some reason, but people try here and there. Isaac had so many, man. The impact of this game can still be felt. It's huge. Moonlighter. I really enjoyed myself with Moonlighter. Once again, I don't think it's really a rogue. It has rogue elements. But I do believe there's a beginning, middle, and an end. You actually progress through a plot, in a sense, and you can finish. This is another... this is... you know, I really should just have a new tier, shouldn't I? But I'm not going to. Forget that. There's too many as it is. I haven't had any Fs yet. This is pretty cool. Maybe I just don't need any Fs. But Moonlighter, rogue elements, fun game. Shotgun King. Shotgun King... I'm gonna put in Neat, I'll Call You. Very cool idea. I had fun with this. It's a very short, easy experience to jump into. One of those like little 10-minute adventure kind of games, a little bit like Nova Drift, where you can just kind of... Well, Nova Drift can go on and on and on, but Shotgun King you can just beat. It's nice, short, easy to get into. Mechanically not too challenging once you figure it out, but after that, you know, do whatever you want. It's not as deep as some of these. I think it's like, if I could make a new tier list and just call it Dumb Fun, it would go in that, where it's just, you know, boot it up and enjoy. Dungreed. Can I be biased? I'm gonna be biased again for a second. I gave you Isaac, right? If this was up to me, based on my experience with Isaac, he'd be down here in the haven't played or not enough experience with it yet, because I really don't. But I'm putting it up here because I know it belongs. Dungreed, I've put a decent amount of time into Dungreed. I think Dungreed is fantastic. Dungreed is similar... This isn't ordered, by the way. None of this list is ordered. I'm not going to order it. I don't care about doing stuff like that. I think that's just being a little bit too anal. I think if it's up here, it's up here. So Dungreed is similar to Astral Ascent in that it's just so polished and has so many good ideas with unique mechanics. The food system in Dungreed and the way that the characters and loot interplay with each other. The combat itself is just, it's very particular, and you don't find many games that do exactly what Dungreed does, in the same sense that, you know, sometimes it's hard to find a good Risk of Rain like game. If you really are cranking for some Risk of Rain, and you don't want to play anymore too, and you want to find something new, it's a bit difficult, right? Like, same with Darkest Dungeon. There's a couple of games that tried to do it, but not as many as, like, an Isaac, right? Like, you don't have your pick of the litter. Dungreed is similar to that. If you've never played it, go do it. It's amazing. I didn't know they were going to work on anything new, but I'm happy to see that they are. Don't know what that is. I can barely... Is that Brick Odyssey? Does that say Brick Odyssey? Dude, it's a game about bricks. I can't... What? I'm gonna pretend that just says Pachinko Panic. I have no idea. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Gunfire. Ooh. Gunfire, I think, goes here. Gunfire is a hot Milo on a cool evening. And that's going to make too much more sense to people who understand what Milo is, but it's a hot Milo on a cool evening. This is just so nice. Now, maybe it's because I'm a little bit biased because, like, I do burn out a little bit on the FPS rogue situation, like, more easily than I do the action like side-scrolling kind of ones, like your Skulls, your Astral Ascents, your Hades, and your Dead Cells, stuff like that. But Gunfire, as far as FPS rogues, I think this is top of the litter. I don't think there's any others off the top of my head that come close to what Gunfire is at. I know RoboQuest is probably like catching up and doing very well for itself, but for what Gunfire is, that is insanely good fun. Go play Gunfire. It deserves to be here. It should. If you were asking anyone else, they'd stick it up here at the end of the day, but I'm putting it in my second tier right there. Shogun Showdown. I've heard of it. Don't know. Why is Hitman here? Hello? Hello? Why? You know what? Hang on. We're doing this. Hang on. Look. Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep doing that? I keep doing that. I need to remember to come down here and do that. That looks terrible. Look at the white tier. There we go. Match the background. Hitman? I don't know why Hitman's here. Dead Cells. I'm not going to talk for 10 minutes about Dead Cells. You all know why Dead Cells is up here. It's Dead Cells. Shut up. I'm not talking about this anymore. 20 minutes till dawn. Neat, I'll call you. I'm going to be brutal on this one. Out of all of the games that are like horde-based defense games, it's probably one of the better ones because it actually bothers to throw in more mechanics. People try and call it a Vampire Survivor style game. I think it's evolved a little bit beyond that. I think it is just like a horde-based game. You had games like this going way back into the Newgrounds, era, the Armored games, Mini Clips, all these different websites back in the day would have games similar to this, where it's just run and gun, top-down perspective, kill as many dudes before you die as possible. Nowadays, we've got, like, auto bullet heaven games your Vampire Survivors likes, and this doesn't really fit that mold, but a lot of people are going to do it anyway because it's easy to just stick it in that basket. One of the better ones, if that's the case. If you want to put that in the same basket, 20 Minutes to Dawn is one of the better ones. It's there, but I'm not a big fan of that genre to begin with, man, so this is... I'm being generous here. Like, I like the game. The game's fun. This is a good, fun game. This is not a bad place for it to be. Good game, but not for me. Faster Than Light, never played. Is that the... what? We have multiple Isaacs? Are we putting the different Isaac... This image needs to be smaller. I don't know what this game is. Celebration of Violence? I'm going to say it's in celebration of Violet Flowers, and we're going to say it's a very pretty and fun game, but I haven't touched it. Into the Breach, no idea. No idea. Juicy Realm, no idea, but that sounds delicious. Spelunky 2. Spelunky obviously deserves the best of the best of the best, right? Spelunky's another one of those trendsetter games. Your Rogue Legacies, your Isaacs, your Spelunkys. They, did the thing of starting up a new revolution of gamers getting into a new genre, and I'm going to stick it here because I haven't played it, and I'm going to just... I have to do something to upset you. If I don't do anything to upset you, if I haven't done it yet, with what's happening, so look at how sparse this list is. Where are my games? Look at the size of this wall of bullshit. I'm gonna leave that there. No idea. No idea. Undermine. I loved Undermine. Undermine was really good. I really enjoyed our time. Actually, you know what? Does Undermine belong in a Hot Milo on a cool eve? No, it's a bit much. I haven't played a lot of Undermine content-wise. I streamed it years ago when I had a much smaller audience, so there are maybe 5 people and a bucket of ham in the corner that actually watched me play Undermine way back when I did, but I really enjoyed this. Inspired a lot by games like Isaac, obviously, but doing it a little bit differently, a bit more of an updated twist to that whole idea of playing. I hear they might be working on an Undermine 2, which would be pretty cool. I do really enjoy this, though. It's a really good, nice time. Super Auto Pets. Technically, it's a rogue, but it's kind of... Are we just calling these games rogues because you can lose and have to start again? Like, are fighting games, or is a battle royale a roguelite where you start? Fortnite is in this list, isn't it? Fortnite belongs in this list because you start, you build, and if you die, you start again. Right? Right? I'm putting this in neat, I'll call you, because I do enjoy this, but it didn't last forever for me. It is fun. Then they started adding all the extra animal packs. I fell out with the meta. I didn't know what some of the creatures did. I think there's a zebra now. I don't know, man. I have no idea. Mana Spark. No idea. No idea. No idea. This is just going to be the tier list where I put everything into the blue tier and we just laugh about how much I haven't played. Streets of Rogue, I've played this, No, I haven't played this. Demon Crawl. I think I've... Why is Cult of the Lamb here? Why is Cult of the Lamb here? This is not a... You know what? It's going in Hitman tier. Hitman. It's going in Cult of the Lamb, and I shouldn't... No, Hitman tier. I don't know why this is here. It has rogue elements. It's kind of like Darkest Dungeon in that sense, where it has more elements as opposed to being the genre on its own. But it's really funny putting it next to Hitman, so it's going to sit in there. Fun game. Very fun game. They keep updating it. I'm surprised. I figured it would be done now and they would have moved on, but, you know, good for them. No, never played Nuclear Throne. Don't stop. It hurts. Stop throwing all your junk at me. I don't know what this is either. I know. Not playing Nuclear Throne is heresy. I get it. Maybe one day. Probably not, though. Let's be fair. I'm not going to go back to Nuclear Throne. But very fun game. As I understand, very fun game. Neat, I'll call you. When I played Raven's Watch, still very early, isn't finished, very early access. There were like, what, 5 characters when I played? They've added since then like 3, 4, 5 more, I'm not sure, but I haven't gone back to it since. Very fun with co-op, less fun solo. It's another one of those games similar to For the King where having other people really helps boost it, but because it was so fresh for me, I can't put it any higher. And I'm not going to stick it down in the blue. Are you kidding me? Look at this nonsense. Revita. I really enjoyed my time with Revita. I think that this would be up here if I had more time with it. But people just, once again, this is one of those games that suffered from I let people vote and they didn't vote it in as much. This is kind of like, I don't know, to me, this is the better Neon Abyss. And if Neon Abyss, which it should be down here somewhere, that I know where that game is going. But Revita is Neon Abyss, but better, like much better. It's kind of like a little bit Isaac inspired, obviously, as well, but it's the 2D side scrolling version, and I really enjoyed this. And if I could put more time into it, I would. Also, shoutouts to one-shotting Depression. I one-shot Depression, legitimately. It was the coolest thing I've done in this entire game, and it was sick. It was absolutely amazing. Risk of Rain 1. I was going to come back and play the remake of Risk of Rain 1, but I never ended up doing it because I think I got sick at the time or something else happened, but I was heavily distracted and I never got around to it. But I understand it would be very fun. I should put this up the top, but between Risk of Rain 2 and 1, I think the legacy of 1 is important, but this just needs to be here instead because 2, I think, just reached more people and brought more eyes to the franchise of Risk of Rain, so to speak. Risk of Rain 1 was a little bit more niche, I believe. If I'm talking out of my ass, don't blame me. It's currently stitched up. Rogue Legacy. The first Rogue Legacy was the first roguelite I ever played. And I'm gonna say here. Now, I know. You know what? I'm gonna adjust the beginning of this. Neat, I'll call you is this, you know, the entire name of this tier isn't doing this spot justice. 3 dates decided to be friends. There you go. We gave it our best. We went out, we had fun, we stayed friends. It's you know, we talk once every maybe couple of weeks, couple of months kind of deal. It's not that weird or awkward. There was never a spark there, really. It's just one of those situations. With Rogue Legacy, I really enjoyed it when I played it. I didn't really understand what the hell a rogue was. Since then, I've gone back and dabbled again. And in fact, I'm going to come down here and grab Rogue Legacy 2, and I'm going to do the same thing. I think it's just inherent to what Rogue Legacy does. I think it does combat well enough, but it's still a little bit too sticky, a little bit too stuffy. It's a little bit too simple at times, where, yeah, it's okay. A lot of these games boil down to grinding for money at the end to just get the last tertiary upgrades to finish building the castle and stuff like that. The thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, though, with them is the fact that the bosses can be killed and stay dead until you've cleared through the entirety of it and then start like a new game plus cycle. It's not really a rogue in that sense, even though it is. This was like the first branded roguelite as far as I know. I know there are others that might have come before it that kind of started that, but this was the first one where people were like, oh no, Rogue Legacy is a roguelite. It's a different type of game. It's not really die and start again. You keep progress, and that means like storied progress. If a boss dies, that boss is gone. You just walk past. They're not even in the room anymore. That is a real roguelite, in my opinion, where that's crazy. But I'm gonna leave them there. They're not bad games. They're fun games. It's a weird love-hate. I'm not gonna put them in love-hate though. Like Noida might just, you know what? We're gonna fix this. Noida just it really is just Noida, isn't it? Slay the Spire. Yeah. I think Slay the Spire might be, and to no one's surprise, the best deck builder I played, and I did play it a bunch. This goes back a couple of years ago. I used some Christmas money that I think a relative gave me at some point. I think I got like a Steam gift card, and I purchased Slay the Spire and Transistor, which are both very fun games, but I remember more about Slay the Spire than I do Transistor. I didn't finish Transistor. I got a little bit bored by the time I got like past halfway. I kind of fell off with it. But Slay the Spire, I got hooked on for like 2 weeks, and I did a whole bunch of stuff, and then when I felt like I was done, I put it away. I never played it again, but that's why it's in this tier. I really enjoyed our time together. And since then, no other deck builder has felt the same, and I don't really play deck builders anyway, but out of all of them, that's the one. That is the card game of the card games. Unless something else shows up that surprises me. The original Rogue, the game that started all of it. This was released in the 80s, wasn't it? I can't remember how far back this is. But this is the birth of a genre. If I was going to put it into, like, a category of its own, I'd stick it up here above everyone else. Started it all, and we'll stick you there. This isn't necessarily to say that it's, like, a great game. I've never played it. I'm just putting it here so you understand the legacy, the legacy of where all this came from. The original Rogue kind of began all of this. Didn't really start a lot of the mechanics that later came along. Like, these guys refined a lot of stuff, but we probably wouldn't be here without the original Rogue. No idea. What is that? Brotato! Brotato is probably the best Vampire Survivors game, in my opinion. Vampire Survivors adjacent game, besides Vampire Survivors itself, you know? It's kind of like, if you talk to a Souls-like fan, and they say, like I would, that Lies of P is the best Souls-like that isn't made by FromSoft, Brotato is the best Vampire Survivors game that isn't a Vampire Survivors itself. It's such a fun game. I have very limited footage on YouTube of it, but I did play it a bunch more on stream. I even found some fun bugs before the game fully officially released. The original developer, same guy who made Space Gladiators, as you know, very cool dude, very fun guy. I love him. Mr. Blobfish, if you're out there. Thank you for making some amazing games. I'm looking forward to what you do next. Go play both of those games. They're very fun. Backpack Hero, never got it. There are more Isaacs on here. I'm just sticking the extra Isaacs over here, dude. I'm not doing that. Vamp Survivors, same deal. I'm just going to stick this in here. For literally the same reason. Fuck you. Wait, no. You know what? No. Love-hate relationship. Love-hate relationship. What have you done? What have you done? Why did you do this? I have such a love-hate relationship with this game because it's a cool game made by one dude. $3. My god. How much value can you get from one game? Opening chests, it's like an orgasm for the eyes. It's amazing. All the streamers come out and it's like, yay, we're winning. I hate that this thing started a new genre that now every single person has to make their version of it, and you can tell that it's so easy for them to do. Like, they're not innovating on it enough. This is where I made an entire video about innovation in games and stuff, half because I'm sick of getting all of these Vampire Survivors games recommended to me. I get it. It's a subgenre now that's kind of becoming its own thing, like an action rogue, FPS rogue, turn-based deck builders. Deck builders are like their own thing now. So the Survivors Rogue, or the Bullet Heaven, whatever you want to call it, is like its own thing now. To me, it just isn't doing enough. It needs to do a little bit more to be different. Personally, between games like Dead Cells, if I do this, Astral Ascent, Dead Cells, Skull, all three of these games, action roguelites. However, they all play differently enough that you're going to get entirely different flavors. You're going to get a completely different experience with each one. Skull has a different pace of combat to Dead Cells and Astral Ascent. different mechanics entirely. Dead Cells focuses a lot more on speed, quick attacks, you die fast, you live fast. It's fast and fluid. Skull is a little bit slower, but can be just as risky because people who played both of these games don't translate their skill sets immediately. They'll struggle with one or the other. And then Astral Ascent throws a big old bag of goodies in the mix and says, here's like 50 more mechanics and more cool things that you can do, but it's not going to be as hard in the beginning. The difficulty is going to happen when you start beating the game, and then you start ramping up the difficulty later on, and then this thing's going to kick your ass, something severe. Different games, dude. Different games. Vamp Survivors? Nah. I throw my hands up in the air. I don't know how many more of these games I can play where it's just run around and, like, it's the laziest copy-paste ever. There are games that do this, that do it just differently enough. Brotato came along early. Brotato was one of the first ones. If Brotato released tomorrow, I'd say do more. Do more. But it released early enough. He's built on it enough. He's done enough with it. It's separated. 20 Minutes Till Dawn. People keep trying to tell me that this is a Vampire Survivors game, and I say not really, but even if it is, it's done enough different. It's innovated on the original. Rant not over yet. We'll get back to it when I come down further down, because I know there's more down here. Bike game, never played it. Wild Frost, very popular game. Never played it though, not for me. No. Eden. I loved the Mega Man games, dude. I really, really, really like the Mega Man games. The EX ones. I watched the anime back in the day on Cartoon Network, where it's all like, you know, jacking in. That was amazing when that... Remember when Lan said jacking in? That was crazy, right? I remember that. I remember I had a small crush on Roll. Yeah, Roll. They used Roll as the girl Mega Man, and I was like, damn, she's a cutie. I used to love that shit. What was it? Long sword and wide sword and whatever the fucking extra sword was, and you combine them all, and it was sick. So One Step from Eden is that as a roguelite. It's the Mega Man EX games from back on the Game Boy and all that kind of shit. But it's a rogue. And I thought I was going to fall head over heels for this because I really liked it, the Mega Man games, as a kid. And then now playing as an adult, I realized, you know what? Maybe I didn't like those games as much as an adult that I did as a kid. Not a bad game. This is actually a sick game. This is an amazing game if you're into that genre. But for me, I just kind of fell out of love with it, I guess. But for my time in it, really enjoyed it. Hard as fuck, though, dude. Like, damn, if you're a pro Eden player, type it in the comments. Hit me up and tell me, like, the coolest shit you've done in One Step from Eden. Are you, like, speedrunning runs in, like, 2 minutes flat or some crap that people can do out there? This is a hard game, man. I respect people who can play that very well. Blazing Beaks. I think I'd played a demo for that, but I never stayed with... Spelunky. Okay, cool. So the original Spelunky we're going to put up here. Shut up. It needs to. I know, it needs to. I can't make you mad all the time. Super Auto Battlemon. I'm going to put that there. I didn't even know that existed. Mother Gunship. Nope. Children of Mortar, I'm going to put that there and piss people off. I'm going to put Riftlands there, put that and piss people off. No, no, no. I've heard of most of these, I just haven't played them. BPM, I couldn't play because of the filter. When BPM came out, I thought, sick, that's a really good idea. And I looked at the footage of the game, I watched like a couple of 20-minute videos, and I got migraines. And people said you can turn that off now, but at the time, I don't think you could, and my head friggin' hurt just looking at it. Since then, I'm going to give a shout out to Metal Hellsinger. Not a roguelite. It's more like Doom, set as a rhythm-based shooter, similar to what BPM does. But BPM is like a proper rogue, I think. But Metal Hellsinger isn't really a roguelite. You just do stages, but if you like Doom and you like BPM, play Metal Hellsinger. Sick game. Absolutely amazing game. Love that game. I might get around to BPM one day, but for now, nah. Tight fights in tight spaces, or whatever it's fights in tight spaces. Tight guys in tight thighs, or so, I don't know, man. I haven't played it. I was recommended it by a friend though, but I have not gotten around to it. Haven't played that. Haven't played that. I don't know what that says. Deep in Galaxia or something. I have no idea what that. What is that? Insurmountable. There's a rock climbing rogue. Crazy. Alina the Arena. I was gonna play that. I never got around to it though. Loot River. Okay, Loot River. Loot River. I'm gonna stick that there. You know what? I think we just delete the F tier entirely. I think this is just how it's gonna sit. So, Loot River, when it was first announced, when I looked at the trailer for it, I thought, that's sick. I like the way this game looks. I like the way that the mechanic of shifting the tiles around works. This is going to be really fun and cool. And then when it came out, it just wasn't polished. And I thought, you know what? They'll fix it up. They'll spend a few weeks, maybe a month or two, adding some patches, doing a little bit of tweaking and twisting. But I think it just released too early. I don't think it had enough time to really reach its full potential. I don't know if the dev team ran into financial issues or time issues or whatever happened, but it just didn't hit. I really want it to work. It's one of those, you have those games that you look really forward to and you really want it to do well, and then even you have to sit there quietly on your own in the room and go, it's just not fun. It's just not fun. I feel so bad for this game because I want it to do well, but I couldn't. Scourgebringer. Shoutouts to Ghosty. I will maybe one day get around to this, I swear. Heroes of Hammerwash. Once again, another one. I know so many of these, dude, but there's so many games. There's so many No, look, so many. There's so many. Curse of the Dad Bods. I love Curse of the Dad Bods. Curse of the Dad Bods is probably going to go here. Only because I haven't finished it. If I finished it and I played it a ton, probably go up here. But for now, it sits down here with Gunfire. And that feels pretty good, to be honest. Dead Gods and Gunfire together, just making out in the corner. Mwah, this is delicious. I love this. So, Curse of the Dead Gods at the time was being compared a lot as like, it was like Dead Gods, Dead Cells, and Hades, I think, were all still pretty big at the time. Hey, I mean, obviously Dead Cells a little bit before those other two, but Dead Gods was doing pretty well for itself. I think Hades just kind of exploded, and people didn't really stick around for Dead Gods as much as they should have. I understand there's a sequel coming, though. Or maybe it's out. I hope it's not out. There is a sequel on the way, to my knowledge, though, but very fun game. I really like this, and I want to go back to it at some point. It deserves to be there. I played it a fair bit, just didn't finish it. No idea. Death Road to Canada. I know of it, but have no idea. Have a Nice Death. Okay, so Have a Nice Death. I'm not sure. I wanna put it somewhere in between these two, to be honest. You know what? We're gonna add a row above. We're gonna add a row above. I'm gonna change its color. I'm gonna make it this cool little this. I don't care if the colors don't flow very nicely. Screw you. And we're gonna put Have a Nice Death up here, and we're gonna call it I Can't Fix Her, but I desperately want to love her still. This is because I just don't vibe perfectly well with a lot of the decision making for how the game flows. Combat wise, some of the enemies' attack patterns are very difficult to read because it's obviously a very loosey-goosey animation style, very rubber hose, right? It's a very cool animation style, very animated, very cool, but some enemies, I swear, dude, like, their whole bodies are in a constant state of motion or movement sometimes, and then an attack will come out, and you think to yourself, I got no telegraph for that, I have no idea what's going on. I have a hard time visibly reading some of the things in Have a Nice Death, but also the way that runs were structured when I played it, the fact that you could skip so much of each level. I'm a big fan of you enter rooms, you enter a place, you kill things, you leave, you get loot, you get stuff. Have a Nice Death gave you the option of just skipping things, and I'm not a big fan of that philosophy. I think that having a large area where you can just run past all of the challenge isn't amazing, and to a degree Astral Ascent has a little bit of that, but they've added enough incentive, and they have rooms obviously that force you to fight, which Have a Nice Death do as well. There's a difference here, and I'm gonna be an arse and say that the color palette for Have a Nice Death is a little too washed out for me. I love the art style and the aesthetic they're going for. I just wish there was a little bit more color than these like muted out grays. I want vibrancy in my games. I can deal with grim. Darkest Dungeon is a very like dirty looking game in terms of its aesthetic, but when this is more colorful and more inspired, you know, with more vibrancy than Have a Nice Death, I don't know what to do, man. I can't. It's an eyesore to me sometimes because I want big reds and big purpley blues and greens and shit like that, and I never get them. I'm being a color simp. Crown Trick, I almost bought this and played this. I was like maybe 5 minutes away from getting it, and and then I pivoted to something else in the last minute because I think I saw like 1 or 2 reviews too negative at the time of release about the initial state of it, and then I never looked back. And since looking back, I think it got a little bit of help, but I don't know how much help. It's might be decent. I don't know. Don't know. Sifu is on my list. I keep shoutouts to Saragon, dude. I keep trying. I keep trying to come to Sifu and play it for stream, but we keep bumping it and playing everything else but Sifu. I'm sorry. One day. Hatbox, no, haven't played it. Ember Knights, haven't played. Realm of the Mad God is technically a rogue. It's also technically an MMO rogue that I did play, but you know, Hitman. I'm not putting it there because it doesn't belong in there. Like, it's not a rogue. It is a rogue in a sense, but Hitman? Yeah, let's just Hitman. Why not? World of Myth. No. Returnal. I understand Returnal might be one of the coolest double A whatever. This is another, like, not really like a Hades, but this was close to being a Hades. This was a PS5 exclusive, I think, at the time. It was exclusive when it released. I think it's on PC now. I have to go and play it now. But yeah, I haven't played this, but I understand it's very, very fun. No. Despot's game. I think I have this, never played it. Wait. That's... I know what that is. I have this, though. I'm leaving it there. I don't know what that is. I think I know what that is, but I don't know what that... Neon Abyss. Where are you? I'm putting you there. You know what we're doing? No, I can't do that. I can't. I was gonna bump it. I was gonna... You know what we're doing? Yeah, no, we're doing that. I'm gonna add a row below. We're adding a row below. And we're gonna do this. I'm gonna make it red. That way you know it's a problem. We're gonna do that. And this is Neon Abyss. I could not vibe with Neon Abyss. That's it. I couldn't get with it. I love the neon cyberpunk kind of steampunky. It's not even steampunk. The neon punk aesthetic kind of thing that the game has going for it. The synthwave music, the colors, visually and auditorially, very fun game. Playing it mechanically, nah, didn't hit with it. It's a little bit too simple. It's just run left and right. It's rivaling Contra to me. And Contra released a long time ago, like Contra 1 on the NES, like maybe not that bad, but it needs more mechanical fidelity, you know? Like Revita has more run and gun fun shenanigans that it can do with a more modern twist. Neon Abyss just didn't do enough. I want it to do more, and I know other characters, new things. I unlocked the katana wielding girl, and she changed the game for me because I had an option to move around and do more, and it's like just running left and right and shooting dudes isn't enough. I have such a love-hate relationship. Neon Abyss is one of those games where I'm playing it and I want to have fun, and I'm not having as much fun because I keep thinking to myself, oh, I want to do more, but I can't. It's a me thing. It's clearly a me thing. No idea. Loop Hero. I really enjoy Loop Hero. Loop Hero, I'm gonna stick in the really enjoyed our time together. I think Loop Hero is a banger of a time. I think that people who haven't played it should give it a whirl. RoboQuest. I have such limited experience with RoboQuest. I'm gonna leave it here. I do own it, and I did play it on stream. I was in the middle of making a video for it when I didn't, for some reason. But this is going way back to early access. I have not played it since full release. I have not played it since it's been fine-tuned. I literally touched this maybe a week and a half into its early access release. Played it a little bit, maybe like 6 hours, and then haven't touched it since. I don't want to rank it because of that, because I know it's really doing well for itself as like a co-op game, as a rival maybe to Gunfire. It's doing really good for itself. I hear good things. Maybe check it out if you like Gunfire or other first-person shooter rogues. No idea. Flurp. Don't know what Flurp... Dude, Flurp's got a funny name. Is that more Gungeon? That's the same gun... Wait, that's Exit the Gungeon. Wait. Did they put Exit the Gungeon in here twice? They did! Wait. What? Whatever, dude. Sons of bitches. Dungeon of the Endless. No idea. Sparklight. Sparklight is not a rogue. I'm putting it down there. I have played this. I actually have videos on this. Sparklight, one of the first video series I ever made on my channel. If you want to see really early Beelz, when he had no confidence in making videos, no idea how to do commentary, still doesn't, by the way, but much worse. You go back and you watch my original Sparklight videos. Don't, by the way, please don't. Look, those videos are only there because, you know, the museum won't let me destroy them. The Museum of Beelz won't let me get rid of them, but it's not really, it's a Zelda game with some mild rogue inspiration. It shouldn't be there. Plunge? No idea. Putrid Shot Ultra. That's a great sounding name. No. What is... Dude, there's so many. Wizard, the Lizard of Legend. It's going straight up here. And the fact that there are people out there who won't put Wizard of Legend on the same tier as these games, you're criminals, alright? You're all criminals. Wizard of Legend is a phenomenal game. The sequel game is currently in the works. We played the demo for it. I'm on the fence. If I were to be judging Wizard of Legend 2, I'm not sure it would be up here where this one is. Might be like down here, maybe. But Wizard of Legend 1, phenomenal. If you like your action roguelites, once again, if you're a fan of this or this or this, play this. It's really good. Go play it. And this. Play. Yeah. Woo! Wizard, great game. Fantastic game. What the hell? No. Metallic Child? Metallic Child? I'm actually really glad that Metallic Child was included. You ever feel really happy when a game is included and you didn't expect it to be here? I'm gonna put it there. I can't fix her, but I desperately want to love her still. Alright, this actually makes more sense. If I were to order it, I'm doing that. Because I really wanted Metallic Child to be more, like, visually, aesthetically, very cool, pleasing game. The mechanics just don't go deep enough. It turns into too much of a hack and slash. There's no real build variety, I want to say. You like pick a weapon and go with it, and that's basically it, but it didn't do enough. It needed a little bit more time in the oven, maybe. But as a complete game, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know, it just needs to stop that. It just needed a little bit more oomph, a bit more seasoning, you know? Shovel Knight Dig, never played that. Soul Knight, I understand people want me to play Soul Knight, but I don't play mobile games, so no, but I guess it would be higher if I were to rate it. Dead Estate. Dead Estate is a really good game. Go play Dead Estate. That is a hot Milo on a cool evening with a capital hot, because this game is very, very good. Very, very fun time. Go play Dead Estate if you haven't already. One of my most popular videos on my entire channel is thanks to Cordelia and her rack. You know, slapping titties, dude. It's a slapping titty good time. Go play Dead Estate. It's amazing. Fantastic. Don't Starve. Never played that. Or Don't Starve Together. Hades 1. It's going here. Okay, it's not really going here, but it deserves to be here. Only because, once again, like Vampire Survivors, why do you have to spawn all of these other games? And I like the majority of the Hades clones, so to speak, but my God, man, my God, there's so many now. It's like back in the day, it's like, oh, let's do Isaac clones. Yay, roguelites. People really like this Hades shit. Hades is like the most successful roguelite ever. And then let's make a ton of games just like it. So Hades still is to this day, like, if I should put it here. I should put it here. But it's wrong. And we know it's wrong. So I'm putting it here, but it should be down here. Only because my one true gripe with Hades, and it's the reason why it's not quite on these two games level, in my opinion, is because with Hades, you start your run, you pick a weapon, and that's it. You get the dataless hammers that give you improvements that change how the weapon functions a little bit, but that's fundamentally it. After you start the run, it's boons, 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 and the boons dominantly do the same thing regardless of your weapon. I mean, some weapons will interact a little bit better and differently, but not dramatically. I don't like that if I pick a sword at the start, it's just going to be slash, 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 dash, slash, dash, slash, dash. I want a little bit more nuance than that. And I know Dead Cells boils down to that at times too, same with Skull, but these guys have a little bit more nuance in that with Dead Cells. You can completely change what arsenal you're using mid-run. if you want to. Same with Skull. Like, you can change characters with Skull. You get a whole different build entirely halfway through. You won't even know what you're doing until halfway through. With Hades, I know what I'm doing at the start. I pick a bow and arrow, I'm using a bow build. Doesn't matter what boons I get, I'm going to be shooting and dashing. If I pick the what is it, the air, no. The rail? The Eris rail? I know what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing I do in every Eris rail run. It's... I don't know, man. And there's only a certain number of weapons, and even the alternate forms of each weapon, they're okay, but after a while, you'll find weapons you like and ones you don't like, and why play the ones you don't want to play with? Like, there's no reason. A rogue should force the issue where you have to try some stuff you never wanted to try before. If I boot up Wizard of Legend and I do a run, I can pick starting spells, but spells I find later are probably going to be stronger and better. Same deal with Astral Ascent. You get starting spells, but you're going to find better ones later. Dead Cells, you'll find better stuff later. You might find legendary skulls in Skull. Hades needs more run variety, and that happens again in 2. If I could rate Hades 2 right now, I'd probably stick it either in Really Enjoyed Our Time Together or 3 Days Decided to Be Friends, until it gets a little bit more added to it, because I've grinded Hades 2 like crazy, dude. I went all the way in on that. Similar issue still. That's a me thing. They're gonna explode all over me with vitriol and hatred in the comments, dude. They're gonna be so mad about that. Spelunky Classic. Oh no. There's another Curse of the Dead Gods here. Hitman? Why is there another one here? Man, you know what? Curse of the Dead Gods gets to be in the Hitman tier as well. That's crazy. Put that there. Put that there. Put that there. Put that there. Put that, there's another Hand of Fate, put that there, and put that there. Oh, dude, I love this game. I have no idea what that is. Put that there. No idea. So many, dude. Furry Unleashed. That's crazy. How are there so many of these that I've never even heard the name of? I've played Poker Quest. I played Poker Quest enough, but not enough to really give it a... Yeah, I don't think I can give it like a really good breakdown. I'm gonna do that. Hollow Cure. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, otherwise we'll piss off the entirety of the VTuber community. Poker Quest, I haven't got enough experience to really talk about, but I have played it. It was a fun idea. You make poker hands to do cool shit. It's not a bad idea. I feel like Balatro has come along and done something similar, but this plays more like a Slay the Spire. So it's a little bit different still, but it's cool. It's cool. No idea what is that? That's a lady. I don't know what that is. World of Horror, no. Dandy Ace! The last game is a Dandy Ace. Dandy Ace goes... Yeah. Dandy Ace is... Okay, so Dandy Ace... love-hate relationship, I guess. Dandy Ace is a game that is okay. It is a game. It is okay. This is probably like if there was a C+ tier. It is C+, B-. It is the perfect middle of the road. Aesthetically, it's pretty to look at while also not being grossly impressive. Mechanically, it's fun to play while not being boring, but not being, you know, blow your hair back and touch your dangly bits amazing. It's perfectly stuck in the middle, and on full release of this game, I booted it up on stream. I turned on streamer mode so that chat could try and interfere with my game and try and get me killed. I beat my very first run and I retired a legend. I'm kidding though. I did a couple more runs after that. It's fine. It doesn't hook that well. I feel like it needs a bit more pizzazz. You know, it needs more zah. It needs more, you know, jump out and do stuff with it. But you know what? If I do this... That looks so bad. That looks terrible. Why did I do this? Am I really gonna put this out? I can't release this, dude. If I release this, I'll never live it down. I'm gonna have to... Oh no. I'm gonna have to release this tier list. You know what? I'll put it on Twitter, I'll stick it in my Discord, and you're gonna see a video of it right now. Yeah, so in closing, play what you want to play. I've spoken enough about each of these games. There's a lot of really good games in here. Ultimately, there are no real games that I hate. out of all of these. Besides, I don't even hate Neon Abyss. I just really don't vibe with it. This is the one I like the least, maybe, of all the games I've played so far in this list entirely. And that includes Noida, even though Noida's like a pain in the ass. It's not a bad game. It's a very fun game. I want to learn Noida. All the others, like, there's no real bad games here. There's just ones I haven't played, and then ones that didn't vibe with me. Feel free to make your own list. It's very easy. You just type in Rogue Tier List Maker, and it's like the first goddamn link there. This massive 2023 based one. If they ever update this and add 2024 games and above, I don't know. I probably won't come back and do another one of these for a while because this is insane. I don't even know how long this video is. This is stupid. In any case, dudes, I hope you've enjoyed me breaking things down. I'm sorry about the lack of videos recently. Go watch the Elden Ring video if you haven't already. That video's dead, dude. That video died on arrival. I feel so bad about that. I'm in the middle of working, like I said, on Fear and Hunger. I'm gonna get some small rogue stuff out. I'm gonna do a video for this boy right here, Astral Ascent. They've got a new character out. I want to go play the new character and experience that. And I'm back on stream. Links down below. Come check out Twitch. Do the subscribey, likey thing, whatever you do. I don't know. Buttons. Hit buttons. I have a VOD channel. If you didn't know, people don't know. I have a VOD channel. Go check out the VODs if you want to catch up on what's been going on stream. I'm currently like 3 months deep into a big action RPG Souls-like kind of thing. We played the Elden Ring DLC and we pivoted that straight into multiple other games. I played the 2023 Lords of the Fallen. We're playing Neo 1 right now. We're going to play Black Myth Wukong when it comes out. Maybe some Neo 2. There's so many of these games, dude. We're playing all of them. It's wild. It's good times. Discord down below too. All the stuff. Anyway, I'm done talking. My throat hurts. I'm gonna go sip some hot Milo on a cool evening, and go rest and relax. And I will see you dudes later. Have a good one.